We have a tragedy in Minnesota. A 40-year-old bride-to-be was murdered and slain. I'm Chris Anchorman. We have more of the details for you in a moment. We have more information on the tragedy in Minnesota. We're getting reports now that the suspect was last seen wearing a blue uniform and fleeing in a squad car? That can't be correct. Is that correct? Bob, is that correct? Wait, the killer was a cop? The police are out killing? Oh my God. Oh. Innocent. That was the girl next door. We have more reports, and this is not the first police killing. Is this the purge? Is this real? Cut to commercial break. Oh man, this was actually getting exciting. Man, this happens all the time in my neighborhood. Kill a cop, kill somebody, then walks free. Man, it's the same old, same old. Yeah, but in your neighborhood, the cops are just trying to do their job and catch the bad guys. The black community really needs to step up and stop all the violence. This here is a tragedy. As we break down this troubling story more, we have diversity and inclusion coach, Brother Man Chris, on with us today. How are you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Now it's Brother Man, correct? Brother? Did I get that right with the H and the A?
No, that's actually a common misconception, and it's funny you say that. But really what's happening is your brain is taking in information and realizes that I'm black, so then you are retrieving some knowledge that you already have about a particular language group, and you're assuming that I'm of that language group, so then therefore your brain autocorrects how you would spell that word, assuming that I would spell it that way too. But in this case, you're wrong. I don't spell it that way. It's just traditional brother. But that's the same thing that's actually happening in the second Minnesota tragedy.
Wow, that is very interesting. I'm sure you have more to explain. Let's dig into this because we've seen this before. The killer cop kills and then walks free legally. So you're saying that we're going to perceive this one differently and it might play out due to the narrative? Is that correct?
Yes, because our brain is taking in information and then twisting it based on the knowledge we already have. So the knowledge we have about the race of the victim or the race of the officer or even the neighborhood that they live in, all that stuff is changing how we perceive the situation to unfold.
But that doesn't tell us anything at all.
No, actually, it tells us way more than we even need to know. Let me ask your viewers this. When Trayvon Martin was shot and killed, did you then think, oh my God, I need to protect my teenage girl because she could be shot and killed the same way? Or what about when Philando Castile was shot and killed in a routine traffic stop? Did your white viewers then think, wow, that could have been me. I was just stopped by the police. I'm assuming they didn't have that thought process because of the narrative. They were probably more under the inclination that that would never happen to them. And Justine was probably in that same thought process.
Actually, we have it here, the Minnesota governor back during the Philando Castile incident. We have a quote of him saying, would this have happened if the passengers, the driver and the passenger, were white? Probably not. Then it's clear that the governor of Minnesota is perceiving it as a race issue.
What's happening is the narrative is hijacking our brain, and then we are becoming segregated mentally. And it's so interesting that this event, this tragedy has happened again, but now the narrative is so different because instead of Castile and Yanez, we have Damon and Noor. That shift in the narrative has changed how it's even playing out. And then when we bring up Back the Blue, they are silent right now, which is interesting because last year they were very adamant about saying, we don't know all the facts yet. Let's hold off till we get all the facts. Now it would come off insensitive to say that. And it's so ironic because last year we had too much information. We had a video. Now we have no visual at all. But yet the Back the Blue narrative has completely shifted because it would come off insensitive to say that when this innocent woman was killed.
So let me ask you, Brother Man Chris, do the cops need to be holstered?
That's an interesting question because it also depends on the narrative. If the narrative is the black community is the problem, then why would we holster the police? They have to go into these dark, menacing places and try and change these criminals' mindsets, right? If that's the thought process, then why would we want to holster the police? But in reality, that is not the case. But the truth is this. We have to peel back the narratives and make it simple. The cops are legally allowed to kill out of fear, and we need to address that problem. When we say it's a black community problem, it's saying that the black community needs to fix it, and then not everyone's involved. But we see now anyone can be affected.
And how do you perceive the verdict will come back?
How will the verdict go? I really don't know, because it's still always about the narrative. We've seen time and time again, it was always fear defense that got the cops out of it. Do you think the public will believe, do you think the jury will believe that the cop feared this woman, feared for his life? I don't think that's going to happen. And it has nothing to do with if the cop actually felt fear, but mainly the narrative and what we all can believe and understand based on what we already know. Hopefully the jury comes back not guilty and the justice system sees no color and fear is fear. And then we can move forward to try and solve this police killing problem together.
Well, I have to say it's great having you on. We're out of time. How can the people get a hold of you?
I'm glad you had me here. Again, Brother Man Chris, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I'm where you are. Every Tuesday we have a new video coming out. I'm just trying to change the way people think. It's not black versus white. This is an American thing, and we can't be mentally segregated. So join me, Brother Man Chris, every Tuesday as we dig deep into diversity and inclusion in fun and unique ways. I'm out.
It just spins out like, is that the thing? I should start signing out that way. You know what, Bob? I'm quitting. I'm out of here.